Hello everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another weekly live here at my YouTube channel. Tonight we're going to do a little bit of alcohol marker coloring, specifically with OLO markers, and it's mostly because I wanted to make sure that I'd let you all know about some exciting opportunities for new markers and things like that. So we're going to get into that in a moment. So I was live with my members, gosh, I think it was last week, and we were talking about just like coloring and like no line coloring and things like that. I ended up doing some no line watercoloring with them last week, but today I thought I would break out the alcohol markers because I haven't done any like marker coloring in what seems like ages, right? So we're going to do a little bit of that. And also what prompted this is because OLO Marker just announced at the end of last week that they are going to be adding a new kind of tip to their marker line, but they're doing it a little bit differently. Instead of just, outright, here it is, you can order it now, they're actually doing sort of like their own Kickstarter campaign, where if you are interested in getting these new tips, they're fine tip nibs, that's what they are, and I'll show it to you. If you want to get these for your OLO markers, you can kind of pre-order them in advance, and then when they're ready to ship, you will receive them. So I don't know if any of you are like have complete set syndrome like I do, but I'm going to be wanting these, the fine tip on the end. So here, let's just take a look at this. They did send me some pre-production samples, and I hope they're okay with me sharing these. They probably are, because they've got pictures of them on their website, so it's not that big of a deal. But, all right, so currently their markers have two different tips on them. Let's zoom in here. There is a brush tip, looks like this. There is a chisel tip that looks like this. And then they are adding a fine nib. Do you see that? See the difference there? I'm kind of thinking that the perfect marker for me will probably be brush tip on one end, fine nib on the other. So that's probably where I'm at. Question in the chat. Lola's asking about, was there a release at Concord and Night this month in June? No, there is not. They had a big inventory blowout sale, and then the summer camp. They do that every year. They do the big sale in June, and they have summer camp. So they do not have a release in June, since it's such a large event that they have to deal with. So hopefully that cleared it up. But come July, we'll be back on schedule every month. Okay, so let me get out some paper here. I'm going to be using the OLO blending card. With the chisel, you can do like a broad, a little more narrow. You can sometimes kind of turn it the other way and get whoa, that's really dark, bright. Even get a little bit more detailed. And then you've got the brush tip, which allows you to like change the thick and thin of it, but it's hard to keep like a consistent line weight because of the nature of the flexible nib. I do love coloring with those because they're fantastic. So when it comes to the fine nib, it looks like this, and you can get like small little strokes like that. So it's really good for coloring in little tiny nooks and crannies and corners on like small images like Lawn Fawn or Mama Elephant or Clearly Besotted or even some of the ones from Simon Says Stamp. So the OLOs are going to be great, like the fine nib are going to be good with this. Now, if you're familiar with, I think COPIC has a fine nib as well, pretty sure. I haven't really used those from COPIC just because I'm a brush tip gal with those, and they do have the chisel on the other end. But yeah, so that's kind of what it is. It's a little bit more of a firm tip, and you can do some good like blending and getting into the nooks and crannies. It has about the same potential for a thin line as the brush tip, except with the brush tip, you will get that kind of wobbly variness just because of the nature of the flexible nib. Okay, so I'm going to give you some details on this pre-order that they're doing. So I've got a link down below in the video description. That link is an affiliate link that they've shared with me since, I want to make sure you guys know. And I'd appreciate it if you use that link. You don't have to, but if you do, I get a little bit of a kickback, and that's amazing. But when you do the pre-order, you're going to get up to 20% off all of the fine nibs, the fine tip nibs. So what this is, okay, let's see. If you get the full 256 color set, you get 20% off. If you get the 128 color set, it's 15% off. And if you get the 64 color set, it's 10% off. Now, here are some things you need to know about this. This is most definitely a pre-order. They have not gone into production yet. They've developed the markers, they've developed the fine nibs, but they have not actually put them into production yet. That's how they can give you this like pre-production price. And they're running it sort of like a Kickstarter in that once they have met their production goal, then they will put everything into production. They're aiming for a delivery date of spring 2027. So it's maybe a little less than a year from now. And because you're going to have to wait that long, you're going to get that pre-order price. So it's kind of fun. I remember they did this at the beginning when they first announced their markers, and a bunch of you got in on that founders deal. And it's a great way to get that really low pricing before the price goes back up. Once these are in-house ready to ship, you're going to have to wait, and for that waiting time, you're going to get a little bit of a price break. So I did ask, I went through their website to kind of figure out some details. If you or like do the pre-order and then at some point you're like, I don't want to wait anymore, or you got to get your money back, they will allow you to get a refund. You just have to contact them. And also, if like this pre-order price will last about 4 to 6 weeks. That's what they're estimating. So if you want to think about it for a little bit before you pull the trigger, you definitely can. But they're kind of guessing that they will get to that goal within 4 to 6 weeks. So pretty guaranteed that you're going to get your markers if you pre-order. And they're an established company. I've worked with them pretty closely over the years since they came out with their markers. Fabulous group of people. They have a great team over there. And they will get you your markers. This is not a scam. You're not going to get swindled out of your money. So I just wanted to let you guys know about this deal, because if you miss it, that's quite a bit of money that you left on the table if you do want these markers. I think they're pretty great. So with that being said, we're going to use some OLO markers today for some coloring. Okay, let's look at the Mama Elephant's June release. I don't have all of these linked down below, but I have the one we're going to be using today. So kind of fun. They came out with like some Halloween type images. So they've got three Halloween stamp sets. I feel like my camera's really bright. It's kind of crazy. I'm not sure what's happening. So we've got some Halloween images. Super, super cute. Zombies. They're adorable. If you know anyone who loves zombies, you're going to be all over this. There's even like a little zombie cat. He's so cute. I love that. All right, we're going to be using this stamp set today. This is the Boo Crew. I think it's pretty cute. Like you can have it say Boo with a B and an O and then another O. I think it's just so cute. They also have two items that are not Halloween related. And there's this one. This is Fall Harvest. Love that little scarecrow. And look at this dog. He's like running. He's so cute. Oh my word. And then this little bunny, he's like leaning against something. He could be leaning against the tractor or, the little, oh my word, it's so cute. He could be leaning against the scarecrow. Adorable. All of these have coordinating dies, by the way. And then this one, look at these fun greetings. Mama Elephant does such good greetings. Look at this. This isn't a thank you card. It's a hug for the person who makes the good days even better. Small card, big love. Just a little paper hug to hold you over until I see you. Just a little hello from my corner of the world to yours. Such good sentiments. Because you deserve to be celebrated on a random Tuesday. I think it's pretty cute. My heart is still smiling for the person who makes life a party. You are wonderful in every single way. Such good just greetings in general. So this is called Still Smiling. So we're going to be using, we're gonna break out the Halloween stuff. I know it's June, but I really don't get to do Halloween because by the time I'm thinking about Halloween, which is more like September, I'm deep into Christmas. So this will be fun. Okay, I'm going to get these out of the packaging here. You know what? I totally forgot one more thing I was going to go over before we get to the project today. Sorry. One more thing I totally forgot. It's linked down below. If you are a video description person, you've probably already seen it. I just got an email last week from Sandy Alnach. Some of you may have also as well if you have purchased any of her products before. Sandy Alnach, I would say within the crafting community, the thing that everyone kind of knows about is her hex chart. She has kind of like swatching hex charts for a bunch of different coloring mediums that are out there. And personally, I have used her hex chart for COPIC markers and her hex chart for OLO markers. But she has put together OLOs and COPICs together into one chart so that you can see how the colors compare to each other across both lines of markers. And the OLOs and the COPICs work really, really well together. So a lot of you who may have, you know, some COPICs and some OLOs, you probably use them together. So having a chart that has them together would probably be pretty useful. So I went over to her site. It's art-classes.com. And I actually downloaded or purchased, I purchased this myself, the chart. And I'm sure she's talked about this on her YouTube channel. But it like is really big. When I saw her email, I was like, how is she going to get all those colors on one page? She didn't. They're on 2 pages. So you actually can like cut them together. And if you want to, you can, you know, glue them like this. There's a little bit of color overlap. So I think I'm actually just going to put them like in a plastic sleeve, just back to back like this so I can see the colors. Or I might decide to kind of like this. But so there's a color one that she has provided all of us. If you just want to just print it out, you don't want to worry about the swatching. But I'm going to do what I've done with my other charts and actually print it out the black and white version so that I can, you know, color them myself and then I get the most accurate color possible when I'm looking at these. And it's also a great way to like assess what markers you want, what markers you need. I have a few Copic markers that have dried up over the years. I know this is a problem for a lot of people right now. So it's a good way to assess like which markers you need new tips for, which ones you need refills for. So it's a good exercise, and it's also really great to just like put on a movie and do some swatching. It's always good. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. Those are like some two recent developments in the crafting alcohol marker world. So I wanted to let you guys know about Sandy's chart. I remember years ago, I saw her at a crafting retreat and she was actively trying to figure out where to put all these colors in her hex chart. So she has spent hours and hours and hours working on these charts. And I think they're very valuable for any of us who are using these particular markers. So let's get into it. The other thing that has been a new development in like, well, not that new because it's been an issue for a while. For those of you who do lots of coloring with alcohol markers, you might have noticed that there has been a little bit of a change in the black inks that people can use for your coloring with alcohol markers. I noticed a while back, I think it's been about 1.5 years or maybe a little bit longer, that the ink formulation for some of our inks that had been alcohol marker friendly are not quite as alcohol marker friendly as they were before. So I'm going back to an old standby today. We're going back to Memento Tuxedo Black. In fact, it's a brand new one. I haven't even opened it. Let's see. I think I'm going to end up coloring these and then die cutting them out. I guess I could also mask them, but I think I'll just use the dyes. Experience like the black inks not, you know, like they're smearing a little bit. Like my old ink pads are great, but the newer ones or like even like the reinkers, not so good. All right, I'm gonna stamp this a few times because I do remember when I used to use Memento a lot that it never got like a really, really solid black line right off the bat. You'd have to stamp it a couple times. Catherine says, I was hoping for a blank chart also so I could color in as my printer doesn't do color very well. And I was hoping it might be less expensive. It's true, but I get why Sandy has priced it at that point because there was a lot of development time to put into it. I created my own OLO chart that is available to my members here at YouTube. I can show you that. Ta-da! This is my own OLO chart. It doesn't have the COPICs, it just has the OLOs. But this is my own chart because I wanted them in the same order as how they are stored on my Razzcog cart from IKEA. So, and there's a few colors here that don't fit. What colors are they? They're like the blacks that don't fit on this chart because they're not on my storage cart. But if you want this chart, it's available to my members here at YouTube. And if you are a member and you haven't seen it, go to the post and scroll back just a little bit. I think I shared it probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. We're going to do an A2 card, and we will have these guys just like this, so it'll say boo. I'm going to use my old standby Post-it removable labeling tape. And then I can just sort of, I'm thinking about right there. Just tape that down. All right, so I'm starting my blending down onto the Post-it tape, and I'm gonna start blending up above. I've got quite a bit of blue ink on here, so it's gonna be a mix of other blue inks and then also Harbor. I'm kind of thinking if I do a little bit of a darker blue, it could almost look like nighttime sky. So I think I'm gonna lean into it. I'm gonna grab a darker blue. It looks pretty dark right now as is, but I also know that that'll go back a little bit. So we'll just do a little bit of blueberry. Just getting that blending up. Okay, so now I'm going to lift up my Post-it tape. So I have that nice sharp line. And I'm going to move my Post-it tape to, I'm going to open up my card again. I want it to be right at that edge, as close as possible. It can even come into the blue a little bit. Like it could be a little bit, have a little tiny bit of blue showing. Because I want to make sure there's not a white gap. All right. We'll just get that mushroom coming down here to the bottom. Once again, I'm focusing on the blending kind of right here so that it just gets the outer edge of the bristles of the brush. That's going to help make sure I don't have like too much color all in one spot. Lovely. It's totally okay. And I'm just kind of doing them randomly. Okay. All right, we'll just do this little guy. Should we put him underneath? Over, under? I think we'll go under. I'm using Versafine Clair and Nocturne. I could use that Memento again, but I think I'm gonna get like one and done stamping with this. I'm hopeful. Yeah, there we go. Versafine Clair never does me wrong. Oh, they're so cute. I'm using a Jelly Roll number 10, and I'm just going to do like some little dots. It's gonna make it look like stars. And then add some little X's that kind of look like little sparkles. I have one right here too. I love little details like this. So this is the finished card for tonight. I think that turned out super, super cute, really well. I love those images from Mama Elephant. Just a reminder about the OLO Fine Tip, or Fine Nib, I should say, the Fine Nib campaign they've got going right now. If you want to get in on that special pricing, you'll want to go to the link that's in the video description down below. Big thank you for using my link because it is an affiliate link. Let's OLO know that you guys value the information I bring you, and it's a great program that they do. So, and they have great product. Another reminder about Sandy Allnock's OLO and COPIC hex chart. That link is also included in the video description. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.